For the last month, Donald Trump has been attacking Ron DeSantis. His attacks on Ron DeSantis have all been kind of dumb. Ron DeGlobalist, Ron DeSanctimonious. And then he put out a picture of DeSantis at a chaperoning a school party surrounded by some girls. He was a teacher or some such, and Donald Trump was suggesting pretty explicitly that he was a pedophile or a groomer. It was kind of a dumb attack. He really was kind of dumb. DeSantis has ignored all of the attacks. You can tell DeSantis is under Trump's skin by the dumb attacks thus far, but DeSantis has now done something, and I find it very intriguing because he's decided to cause the Trump side of things to make mistakes. Now, this is something that we historically know about Trump. Trump is very good about finding a way to discredit his opposition. He throws a bunch of attacks and he sees what sticks. It's kind of like when you see the movies, like the Top Gun Maverick showed this. If you see the movie, great movie, worth seeing. If you haven't, one of the 3 or 4 people left who hasn't. When missiles are incoming, you fire a bunch of flares out of the back of the plane, and you hope that the heat-seeking missiles hit the flares, and it just shoots out all these flares on the back of the plane. And you're hoping that the missile gets distracted from the plane and hits those things. And essentially that's what Trump does, is he throws all these flares out and he sees what gets people distracted and what hits, and then that's what he does. He hones in the target there. And it's been very obvious he does this, and a lot of people take the bait. The problem here is that DeSantis has never taken the bait. It's hard to see which of the attacks have gotten under DeSantis' skin when DeSantis doesn't respond at all. Instead, what DeSantis has learned is that the Trump team does themselves make mistakes. When you go after something that really aggravates Team Trump, you sometimes force them into making mistakes. Like, for example, Donald Trump doesn't like it when people talk about his tiny hands. It's actually a thing. Do you remember he wrote letters to people? I think Gordon Carter or whatever, Graydon Carter of the Vanity Fair or whatever. Trump got very defensive about something about his hands. It was all kind of funny, a little bit ridiculous, but it threw him off his game there for a little bit. DeSantis is throwing the Trump team off their game. He's not attacking. In fact, what's so interesting about what Ron DeSantis is doing is he's championing a cause of Donald Trump's, but he's championing the cause in such a way it's forcing the Trump team to make a serious error. Yesterday, DeSantis convened a roundtable in Miami, focusing on, in their words, quote, the damaging impacts of defamation from the legacy media. If you will recall, for years, Donald Trump has suggested it's too hard to sue the media when they lie about you, and we need to make it easier to sue the media when they lie about you. So he convened a panel of conservatives to talk about making it easier to sue the media. DeSantis did this. This is an issue that Donald Trump has championed, and DeSantis convened a panel to talk in support of it. One of the people on the panel was Libby Locke. You probably don't know who Libby Locke is. You should know who Libby Locke is. She has been Sarah Palin's lawyer. She has been James O'Keefe and Project Veritas's lawyer. She went after the New York Times on O'Keefe's behalf. DeSantis said of Libby Locke, she was, quote, an extraordinaire when it comes to First Amendment defamation. Guess who else is a client of Libby Locke's? This is chess. This is not checkers. This is chess. DeSantis invites Libby Locke to come speak on a panel about making it easier to sue the media. She has represented Sarah Palin and James O'Keefe against the media, and she also represents Dominion Voting Systems, currently suing Rudy Giuliani, Mike Lindell, Newsmax, Fox News, OAN. Yeah, that Dominion Voting Systems. And of course, this is actually really good. This suggests that DeSantis knows what he's doing. So he put Libby Locke on a panel about suing the media, something Trump supports, but she's the lawyer for a bunch of conservatives and also the lawyer for Dominion Voting Systems, suing a bunch of Trump supporters. And the Trump team went into meltdown mode, absolute meltdown mode. It's disgusting, according to Mike Lindell. She's a liar. She is part of the lie. The big lie is the big lie, Mike Lindell said. DeSantis being in cahoots with a Dominion lawyer has outraged the people of the United States. DeSantis lost any chance of running, Lindell said. Joseph McBride, who's represented some of the January 6th defendants, is a Trump lawyer, says DeSantis destroyed himself. Quote, how in the hell is he going to beat Trump in a primary when he just gave Dominion a seat at the table? I just don't see it happening. I think it's a thumb in the eye. I think it's his way of saying all this election stuff was nonsense. Ali Akbar, one of the January 6th organizers, DeSantis isn't just trolling Trump, he's now trolling us. He then went on to accuse DeSantis of, quote, using the same font as Truth Social when it came to the graphic. Sebastian Gorka responded, what? While stoking the outrage of MAGA internet dwellers, longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone additionally called DeSantis' invite of Locke tone deaf. Why would DeSantis agree to this? This is the polling firm Rasmussen asked on Twitter. Laura Loomer, y'all know Laura Loomer. She called it truly sickening. It really confirms what I've been saying all along. DeSantis doesn't care about voter fraud, problems with electronic voting machines, and he doesn't care about free speech. So, okay. So Ron DeSantis puts on a panel to talk about making it easier to sue the media, a lawyer who represents conservatives suing the media, but also represents Dominion Voter Systems, who is suing some of these people for lying about the company. And they did lie about the company. And some of these people are having to settle for millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, because they made stuff up about Dominion Voting Systems and the lawyers in the right. But because DeSantis put this lawyer on a panel to talk about an issue Donald Trump likes, Donald Trump's most ardent zealots are in meltdown mode, relitigating 2020. And here is the punchline. There is a growing body of data from Republican pollsters and data analysts that the more Trump and his supporters scream about 2020, the more Republican voters get away from Trump. The more Donald Trump and his friends scream about the 2020 stolen election, the more Republican voters leave Donald Trump. DeSantis just got Donald Trump and all of his supporters to start screaming about the crazy conspiracy theories about Dominion Voter Systems again, highlighting the crazy. Sarah Sanders, in her State of the Union response, said that there's no longer a battle between right versus left in this country, really. The dividing line in America is the choice between normal and crazy. DeSantis just put himself on the side of normal, and Trump and Trump's most ardent supporters on the side of crazy. And even the base Republican primary voter is ditching that side of crazy. This was actually some really smart maneuvering by the DeSantis team to take on Trump without ever saying the man's name.